currently we are going from Mike India Tango. They already gave me a clearance to land, and I'm on a Mexican Air Force base, so I better hurry. We are going to be climbing today to 12,000 feet. That's because of the mountains, and I'll show you a little bit here where we see that on the flight plan. But we are going to Mike Tango Papa, which is Tapachula, which is in the city of, I think it's Chiapas, Chiapas. I think that would be Chiapas. We'll find out. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have a waypoint here. And our waypoint today is Tango Golf Zulu. And that would be the one in Mexico. We don't want to go to the one in Kazakhstan. So there we go, Mexico. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be flying over the mountains here. We'll go ahead and clear that right there and back this up real quick. We're going to be flying over the mountains and then taking a look at Tuxtla, Tuxtla Gutierrez, and then flying over back to the coast to Chiapas. So we will go ahead and let's go ahead and get started, get flying real quick. I already set the altimeter. It's the proper altimeter. This is real-time weather. I did back up the time to about 4 o'clock. We got our, we'll go ahead and turn on all our lights. Might as well have them all on. Taxi lights is just having a second light on, and it's just kind of like driving with your brights on, you know. I guess, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and drive with my brights on. We've been cleared already for takeoff, runway 36. Now I'm going to go ahead and synchronize the heading here. Let me go ahead and see if I can monitor here on the testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sounds like we are good to go. So the brake is off. Everything else is off. Got some thunderstorms behind us. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and spool up here. And off we go. Synchronize the heading. Full rich mixture. Taking a while for that air. Okay, now airspeed is alive. Outside air temperature is 29 degrees Celsius. Rotated about 55. Rotate there. Just a gentle pullback and autopilot engaged. Flight level change, and we'll go ahead and hit the nav. We don't need the heading there, so we are on our way. We are climbing, should be climbing here at about the best rate of climb. X is the best angle of climb, Y is the best rate of climb. We're going about 77, but it's set for 75. So we're chasing right now this magenta line, and we want to climb. We don't have to worry. I think we'll, by the time we get to the mountains there, we'll be at plenty enough height. Got some thunderstorms there. We are heading east, so to our north actually there's some thunderstorms, but I don't think we have much to worry about there. Nice steady climb. I filled it up with about 80% fuel. Backing off now a little bit on the mixture. Be this right here. I backed that off, and just a good steady climb. We got about 7-knot headwind right now, but we want to check out Tuxtla Gutierrez, and I didn't want to land there I think the elevation there is about 5,000 feet. Maybe not that high, but it's up there. We'll find out here shortly, but right now let's go ahead and concentrate on climbing. We do have, let's go ahead and look at our drone here. And I'm going to go ahead and check this out. Press F6 and speed up our drone. Oof. We have a wind farm over here. And yesterday when we came in for a landing, they were sitting still. And I'm wondering if they're moving around now. There is about a 7-knot wind. And yeah, that looks like they are moving around. So it looks like they're looking to harvest. And look at that. They're all in synchronization. That's another thing about Microsoft Flight Simulator. When it first came out, they weren't all in synchronization like they are now. They all spin at the same, I mean, they're all in uniform there. But anyway, things that they work on, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to the plane and respond. See if I can respond.
Ixtepec Tower, Cessna November Charlie, 77 Charlie Charlie, frequency change.
And I'm going to go ahead and contact Merida Center, Class C.
Merida Center, Cessna
We
November
are
Charlie,
in
77 Charlie Charlie,
airspace
type Cessna Skyhawk,
right here.
5 miles east of Ixtepec, 2,800 feet.
But this runway
Request
is open
clearance
to
to
the
transition
public.
Charlie airspace.
I would imagine in real life you would have all of that airspace permission before you take off. Let me go ahead. What was that again?
Merida Center, Cessna 7 Charlie Charlie, say again please.
Cessna November Charlie, 77 Charlie Charlie, Merida Center.
I'm just yakking.
Squawk 6653. Cessna 7 Charlie Charlie, radar contact 5 miles east of Ixtepec, 3,200 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Maintain on navigation.
Okay.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace, Cessna 7 Charlie Charlie.
Ixtepec, I guess that's how they're pronouncing it. Maybe the I is silent. Ixtepec. Ixtepec. I-X-E-T-E-P-E-C. I was talking to Bing yesterday on yesterday's video, but in case you missed it, they were talking about 15 air bases. I'm going to see if I can just say Air Base 2 and see if Bing responds here. I want to look out the window, but I don't want to have to hold the controller the whole time. So can you tell us about Air Base 2 in Mexico? See if it responds here to Ixtepec.
Searching for Air Base 2 Mexico.
Yes.
Air Base 2, Base Area Milita Number 2, is one of the Air Force bases in Mexico, located in Ixtepec, Oaxaca. It is part of the Southern Air Region and hosts the 2nd Air Group with the following squadrons: 201 Air Squadron, Cessna 182, Cessna 206. 202 Air Squadron, Pilatus PC-7, Pilatus PC-9M. 203 Air Squadron, Beechcraft King Air C-90A, Saberliner 75A. It is not to be confused with the United States Air Force installations, which are located in different countries and have different names.
And so that's why we're leaving right now, is Air Base 2. The Saberliner 75A, that's interesting. I flew on a T-39 Saberliner when I was in the military. I didn't say I flew one, I said I flew in one. But me and a buddy of mine, we were on MAC flights, and we flew on a T-39 Saberliner. And apparently it's, there's a guy, stunt pilot, a famous stunt pilot named Bob Hoover, that could actually do stunts in the T-39 Saberliner. It's a pretty rugged jet. It's a business jet, just like a business jet, but it's the, of course, the Air Force version. They don't make them anymore, but T-39s are still in use some places. So let's look at, boy, there's some more wind farms over there really making use of the wind here. So, we are now at 5,300 feet. Flying right along. Bring the drone down here a little bit. We are headed right for those mountains ahead of us. Quite a few wind farms there. I wanted to show you why we're climbing to 12,000 feet. And of course, the ceiling for a Cessna 172 is 14,000 feet. And anything above 10,000 feet, I would imagine, would include oxygen bottles. You have to have oxygen. But the reason why we're climbing to 12,000, if you look at world low right here, this line right here calls for 12,000. And so we are going to Tuxtla Gutierrez International, and looking at the airport here at Tuxtla Gutierrez International, the elevation, okay, the elevation is only 1,500 feet. Apparently there's a big valley there. But when you look at the terrain here, the surrounding terrain, we're looking at, well, some of this is about, looks like 3,000, 5,000 for that right there. But on the way out, we have, well, I thought we had higher elevations there, but apparently not. But it is calling. The reason why I said 12,000 is there, the reason why I was thinking it's higher elevations here is because the 12,000 is on this line here. So, at any rate, we're going to be climbing the 12,000. Going to hit this set of mountains first. We got all of this airspace. Now this right here, this blue area, this is thunderstorms, and TS stands for thunderstorms, and cloud tops of up to flight level 5,500, so that's 50,000 feet cloud tops. And there's more thunderstorms there, but we're getting away from the thunderstorms on our journey. So we took off from Ixtepec, which is right here, and of course we're flying to Tuxtla Gutierrez over the mountains. I just wanted to show you real quickly some of the majestic areas this is. It's very beautiful. I'm not going to play the videos, but I just wanted to take a look real quick there at Tuxtla Gutierrez. And when we're flying over it, we'll have Bing AI give us some information on it. So at any rate, very beautiful area. So check that out on Google Maps when you get a chance. And full screen again here. Got a lot of wind farms down there. We are at 7,500 feet, climbing at a steady 75 knots, which is our best way to climb. Flaps are up. I've got the prop full. Looking at the graph here, it's in the green. The fuel flow. I've got the mixture at about 50% or so. Looks like some cloud tops over there. That's mostly though, again, we're flying just about due east right now. And that is about just almost due north, some of those heavy clouds there. So we're going to be avoiding that. And where we are right now in Ixtepec, going to Tuxtla Gutierrez. But and we're going to Chiapas, Chiapas, Chiapas or Chiapas. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. But that is another state. And I guess is that the state also? Apparently that's the last state there bordering Guatemala. So the next encounter that we're going to have after, the next flight, we're going to be leaving Mexico and flying to Guatemala. And now Guatemala, it's not a very big country. It's just as big as some of the states in Mexico. So, Chiapas, Mexico. I'm going to see if I can get Bing to help me out on that. What is the most southern state in Mexico?
Searching for most southern state in Mexico. According to the sources I found, the most southern state in Mexico is Chiapas.
Chiapas.
It borders Guatemala to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the southwest. It has a population of about 5.5 million people and a rich cultural diversity, with many indigenous languages spoken. It is also known for its natural beauty and archaeological sites, such as Palenque.
Okay, and that's it. Apparently there's no more information on Chiapas. So that is the last state that, or the most southern state that we are going to. And then from there, on our next flight, not this one, but the next one, we'll be flying to Guatemala. We'll be talking about Guatemala. And on the way back, we're flying, of course, to the southern tip of South America and back. Destined to do it in a Cessna 172. And then I think part of it in the extreme south, we're going to be doing it in the Cessna Caravan. And the reason why we're going to do that is because of the de-icing features. So Microsoft Flight Simulator, they're going to ferry flight the Cessna Caravan down to there, and we'll fly that, and we'll have the this Cessna 172 stay at one of the airports there close by, and we'll fly the rest of the journey to the southern tip of South America, probably encountering some icing. So we'll have de-icing for the frame and for the engine and for the, of course, the pitot heat. And but at any rate, what I was going to say is on the way back, we'll be flying up all along the coast again through Brazil, and then of course we'll be on the eastern side of Guatemala when we get there, and then that would be Belize. Be visiting Belize and some of those countries along Central America. We got the mountains ahead of us. Looks like we have plenty of altitude though. We're already about 95, almost 10,000. Doing a steady climb. We have 5-knot headwind, so not bad at all. All the clouds there.
Aeromexico 679er descend and maintain flight level tree 60.
Wanted to real quickly look at flight radar 24. What was that? Aeromexico, let me go ahead and 679.
Aeromexico 679er descend and maintain flight level tree 60.
Find that. So let me go AMX 679. Show that on the map. Okay, and that's the one that they're talking about. Apparently that one is going to Mexico City, coming from Guatemala City.
Aeromexico 679er descend and maintain flight level tree.
But we'll hear this for a little while. We'll hear Aeromexico 679 descend and maintain flight level 360. Yeah, they're going to be working on ATC, Microsoft Flight Simulator team, and hopefully they're looking to. I saw a third-party one. I forgot what it was called right now. But they're starting out, and they're trying to make it a lot more realistic. Hopefully, Microsoft Flight Simulator team will buy into that and make it more realistic. Use all the different voices from Azure, I guess that's what you call it. Hey Frederick, how you doing? Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are flying from Ixetepec to Tapachula, which is in Chiapas, I'm still not pronouncing it right, but that's the state that it's in. Tapachula is the city. We're going to be flying over the mountains. What we got here, looking at Sky Vector here. I don't know what it's at, but Sky Vector. This is our flight plan right here. Flying to the TGZ, or Tango Golf Zulu, which is kind of like in a valley, I guess. And but of course there's a runway there. We're not going to be landing there though. We're just going to do a flyover and talk about it. And then flying to Tapachula, and hopefully we won't have any weather. This weather right here might be heading this way. I don't know. But this right here is some thunderstorms with the cloud tops up to 50,000 feet. Looking at now we are at 10,800. We're climbing at only about 250, 300, maybe 300 feet a minute now because of the thinner altitude now that we're climbing in. Once you get into a little bit higher altitude, we're still climbing at the best rate of climb. And actually, I can probably bring that blue bug down a little bit, just nose up just a little bit. We might even get a stall warning. I don't know. But anyway, we're keeping that right there to the Y. But we're climbing at a good 74 knots, trying to keep that going. Yeah, this is not. This is still north of Guatemala, but whenever we land, it'll be the last airport that we approach, or that we're going to be at. The next flight that we do is going to be to Guatemala. So it borders Chiapas borders. It's the most southern state in Mexico, and it borders Guatemala. Got a few clouds in the area. I don't think we have any thunderstorms to worry about. Some farmland below us. Back to the drone. Tiny little communities there. Yeah, we're going to have plenty of altitude. I don't even know if we need to go to 12,000 feet. But I have my oxygen canister, and we thought, well, might as well go ahead and climb to 12,000. Anything above 10,000 feet, of course, you need that oxygen canister. So going a little bit away from the ocean there's the ocean right there. Ixtepec Air Base behind us. I believe that we're still in the airspace, though. I don't think that they didn't say anything about we're leaving.
Generic 431 climb and maintain flight level 190.
But it almost looks like we're in between airspaces there. But we requested flight following, but what we requested was to go through the Charlie airspace. So apparently we are still in Charlie airspace.
431 climb and maintain flight level 190. Generic 431 climb and maintain flight level 190.
Cozumel, I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Cozumel, Mexico.
Generic 431 climb and maintain flight level 190.
Wow, that was probably a pretty beautiful place there to live, Fred. Looking at it on the map there, on Google Maps, and that's an island there off of Cancun. And unlike some of the islands there off of the Gulf of California, obviously that one is inhabited. But earlier in our flights, we flew over the Isla Angel de la Guarda. That's off of Baja California. And then there's another island called Isla Tiburon. And the population of both of those islands is a big fat 0. And according to, I'm looking at the map here, it looks like those islands are much bigger than Cozumel. Cozumel, okay, Cozumel. Well, I'm not good at pronouncing Spanish words, but that's interesting.
Aeromexico 679er descend and maintain flight. Avianca
That would be a
generic 431 climb and maintain flight
really
level
nice place to live, except for the hurricanes that blow through every once in a while. Of course, there's a lot of hurricanes that blow through Cancun. Have you experienced any hurricanes while you were
flight
there?
level 190 generic 431.
So we are now at altitude. You can tell the difference by the engine sound.
Aeromexico 679er descend and
I'm going to
maintain
go ahead
flight
and
level
turn that down
360.
if I can. Should have turned it down from the jump street, but I forgot.
Avianca 22 descend and maintain flight level 280.
Avianca 22.
Aeromexico 679er descend and maintain flight level 360.
So we are now, I got the prop still full. So we're in thinner, so it's not even touching the red for even getting near it.
Avianca 22 descend.
Avianca 22. I'm curious about that plane there. Avianca 22. Go ahead and go back into flight radar 24. Avianca 22. Avianca 22. I wouldn't know how to find that here. Avianca 22. AVIA.
Avianca 22 descend and maintain flight level 280.
NCA 22. No flights found. So apparently that's Avianca, and there's some live flights there, but who knows, well, maybe it's this one right here. There we go, 8B22. And then that would be show on map. Okay, ABA 022. So that one's going from Bogota, all the way from Bogota, Colombia. And so we won't be going to Bogota, but we'll be going, of course, all along the coast there. And that one's going to Mexico City. So it's going to be arriving there in about an hour. And Tapachula is right there, as you can see, and then there's Guatemala just right below it. So we're right along the border
Avianca
there
22 descend and maintain flight level 280.
when we land. So we're just over mountainous areas here. A few farms and whatnot. Not really much to look at. Still not too far away from the coast. I mean, it would probably be about an hour's drive.
Flight level 280.
what I can do now, might as well, we'll go ahead and set up. We'll go ahead and back up here. So we do have some thunderstorms. Looks like we are going to be heading into the weather. I was afraid of that. So yeah, looking at sky vector right here. All of this weather right here. I don't know if you maybe reload this and that moves with you. I don't know, but apparently all of this right here is going to be over Tapachula there. But at any rate, okay, so Albianca replied finally, but apparently we're going to have problems with thunderstorms. Hopefully the weather won't be too bad. But going to the flight plan here, going to Mike Tango Papa, we've got the weather at 080 and 06, gust 22. 080, 06, right here, in Mike Tango Papa, 082313 Zulu. 080, so the wind is 080 at 06, gust, I imagine that G22 means gust 22, and scattered, 1.5. I need to learn how to read all that, but anyway, we're going to have some pretty gnarly weather, looks like that. But anyway, 080 would be pretty much almost the direction that we're in right now. And so setting a procedure there, I'm going to go ahead and select runway 5. And we'll just go ahead and do the visual. It seems to be the easiest rather than the DMEs and all that. I still need, that's still a learning curve for me that I'm going to take the time to learn one of these days. But there's a procedure on how to do all of that. But I already know how to do the visuals here. So that, and I always go, instead of vectors, I just go to straight and minimums. I think I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put in barrel. I'm gonna put in, just to see what it does, I'm gonna put in 300 feet. I'm gonna see if it says minimums. I think the runway is 300 feet. Let's try that out. Press enter. And then we'll go on to, we'll load all of that. Obstacle is my responsibilities. So we have the final approach straight at 25 and the final approach at 900 going to runway 5. Now this may change, just like on that last flight. It changed. The tower told me to go to the opposite runway, but we'll see. We'll see if we land at runway 5 there. And I'm going to go ahead and set the altitude now to 900. So this is altitude select to 900. And I'm going to go ahead and hit vertical navigation, and that loads our V path. And then so now we have, it's an hour and 24 minutes before we worry about it, but we have about 35 minutes to our first waypoint, and then we'll find out over an hour before we talk about landing. So this is going to be a long flight there in a Cessna 172. Worked at a school. Well, that's pretty cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like you're the world traveler there, Frederick. You've been to lots of places, or you've lived in lots of places. I have relatives in Germany, and of course been to Germany several times. My aunts, I have two aunts that still live in the house that my mom grew up in. My mom passed away a long time ago, but my aunts, they're still doing very good. They're all like moms to me. It's just wonderful. TAI 431. TAI 431. I keep closing it. I think it times out, so anyway, but whenever I bring it back in, it's right where I was. So TAI 431, there it is. And that one is going from Mexico City to San Salvador. That is an Airbus A320 at 35,000 feet. And in Microsoft Flight Simulator, there it is. It's at 19,000 feet according to Flight Simulator. So I don't know how true that is. Sometimes planes do descend. It's looking like it's maintaining 19,000 feet as well. You have ants in Norway. Have you ever been there, Frederick? Farmlands there. That's one country I haven't been to yet. I'd like to go to. I'd like to check out the Netherlands. I'd like to check out Norway. I'd like to check out Sweden. Even Finland. I wouldn't mind going to Finland. But definitely not in the winter time. Mostly during December. Alrighty, festive times there for Christmas time. I've never been to Germany yet in December. One of these days I'll go there in December, because Christmas, of course, as everybody knows, is big in Germany. The Christmas tree, of course, was the origins of the Christmas tree was, of course, the Old Tannenbaum, German origins. In fact, there's a picture of my grandfather and the kids, my mom included, and they're gathered around a Christmas tree, and it had actual candles on it. My grandfather would light the candles. So I'm wondering what lake that is down there. That looks like, I'm not sure, actually. Doesn't look like it's a very big lake. I want to look at Google Maps real quick, check out and see if we can find that. So we'll close that, we'll bring that up. This is where we took off from Ixtepec, right there. Okay, so we took off from there, and our destination is this right here. So I don't think it's that lake there, and it's certainly not that lake. It's just a smaller lake there over the mountains somewhere. Because we're still about It can't be that lake there, because that's north of our destination. It's probably this one right here. I bet you that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Just a small little lake there, and the community looks like it's thriving off of it. But looking at so that the community is Rosendo Salazar, and there's just a few pictures there of the lake. Straighten out the drone again. Rosendo Salazar. Don't know if inside the plane we can see it. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, there it is back there. Rosendo Salazar. So some of these towns here would be going back to the layers there. There's Rosendo Salazar over there, and then flying over to Santa Cruz or some of these towns. Vista Hermosa. Looks like an interesting place. Anyway, Villa Morelos. Grew up speaking English, Norwegian, and French. That's pretty awesome. Ich spreche kleine Deutsch, just very little German. When I was a kid, I was in Germany for 3 months when I was a teenager, and I was picking up on German quite a bit, and I lost it all. So I'm about 100% English and about 5% German. It's interesting down there. I wonder what that is. I wonder if we can see that on the maps here. There's a lake right there. Okay, that's what these things are. San Rafael. No highlight or anything, just San Rafael. I guess those would be greenhouses, or maybe some cattle ranches down there. There's a hotel that's temporarily closed. But anyway, that's what we're looking at there. Sometimes you find things like that, and then like over a few flights ago we found a prison. A few clouds gathering up here. Looks like we might be skimming over the tops of some of them. Looks like a mountain right there is pretty high, and looks like those thunderstorms are headed this way. My Nexrad right there is picking up quite a few there, so I don't know how fast they're traveling. We are 45 nautical miles away from first waypoint, or only waypoint I should say, and about 25 minutes we'll be flying over the city there.
431 climb and maintain flight level 190. Generic 431 climb and maintain flight level 190.
Let's go exploring. Wondering what that was down there. I saw something bright down there. Oh, that's just somebody's house.
Generic 431 climb and maintain flight level
A
190.
village over here. And then we got something over here. I'm going to see if I can find it while we're still close by here. That would be this right here, right?
Generic 431 climb
And so
and
that
maintain flight
is
level 190.
looks like another prison. Federal Crime Justice Center. Oh boy. Well, I tell you what, I'm finding all these prisons. That's another prison there. And that would be...
Generic 431 climb and maintain flight
let's
level
go ahead
190.
and click on that right there. Federal Criminal Justice Center. And that one right there, maybe we can translate it to English. Controls Court and Prosecution Court. So there's where the courts are, and there's where a couple of prisons are. Looks like a couple of cell blocks right there. Alrighty. Things that you find in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's what's so cool about Microsoft Flight Simulator, though, is that you can find things that are really there. FSX, of course, didn't have that.
Generic 431 climb
Generic
and maintain flight level
431.
190.
I think what it does is it, until it gets a reply, it'll just keep repeating. What I do after these videos are over is I break them down,
431 climb and maintain
and
flight level 190.
anybody that wants to watch it again, of course, they can just watch the segments of it. This is a new channel, of course. Of course, I had the channel actually since 2014, but actually flying Cessna, you know, videos is a new thing, and you know, I enjoy doing it, and certainly thought I could always just share the experience with anybody that's likes Flight Simulator or likes socializing. And I don't have a whole lot of followers right now, but if you like this, of course, smash that like button and subscribe, as they say. But anyway, I can always, I like going back to it later, just doing a review. And I'm not a pilot. I've never actually even been in a Cessna before. I've looked inside of them, I've never been in one. I have flown on a Piper Cherokee. A friend of mine brought me up. My boss, actually, a few years ago. And I've flown, the smallest jet I've flown on it was that T-39 Saberliner that I was talking about earlier. Me and a buddy of mine, we were flying across the nation in Mac flights. Our destination was Ohio. We took off from Bergstrom Air Force Base in San Antonio, landed at, I think it was Tinker Air Force Base. We landed, picked up a general. They already had, you know, dignitaries on board anyway. So we flew, I think it was 2 generals or high-ranking officers and a guy in civilian clothes, and then me and my buddy, and we were both in our dress whites. Of course, we had to be in our dress whites. And we flew to Virginia. We landed there. It was actually in the middle of a thunderstorm. In fact, one of the generals, he was kind of like white-knuckled and, you know, very concerned. You know, he was probably a pilot himself. You know, it was we were getting bounced around quite a bit. But anyway, so we landed there, and then we didn't know whether we were going to be in Virginia for a couple of more days or whatever. And we were thinking about maybe just catching a bus to Ohio. And then they were saying, hey, there's another T-39 that's flying over to LaGuardia. I'm going to pick up a general there and then fly to Ohio. And would you guys like to go on to that one? We said, sure. And so it's just me and my buddy, and then a pilot and a co-pilot that flew from Virginia to New York. And then, you know, during the flight there, it was pretty cool. It's almost like this, flying in between thunderstorms. But you could even see lightning bounce from one cloud to another. It's just awesome. But the co-pilot actually got up and asked us if we wanted some coffee and served us coffee. And he was the one flying the plane. He actually was the PIC, the pilot in command. And so we landed in LaGuardia. He got off, you know, and you know, and then, you know, maybe 45 minutes. I forget how long it was. We got back onto the plane, and then there was another enlisted person from the Air Force that also got on the plane and you know, was taking advantage of the MAC flights as well. And so there was that pilot, that co-pilot, and then there was that general, and then an airman from the Air Force, and then me and my buddy. And that general was sharing stories about flying low-level flights on a B-52. He was saying that up to, you know, 100 feet off the ground. And they were just done with that. He was sharing his story with that, about that. I thought that was pretty cool. T-39 Saberliner. So I guess that generic either got out of the area or finally replied to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We have a few clouds ahead of us here. A little bit of weather. We are 28 nautical miles from our destination, and then 15 minutes, only about 5 minutes to our destination. We'll go ahead and talk to Bing about Tuxtla Gutierrez, Mexico. Almost looks like a line right there. I'm wondering if we are now in the, there's that prison again. But there's a line here. Of course, that line is satellite imagery. But I was just wondering if we were in, no, we're still, we are over Chiapas right now. So we are over the last state right now already. And this is the state that we're flying over. There's, look at that. One of those pyramids there. And of course, this is all the area. Look at that. Isn't that something? That's a place to go. This, of course, is pictures that people take. That's over Chiapas. I don't know. I was looking on the flight simulator before I started this flight to see if there was any points of interest, and I don't know if that's a point of interest included in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Probably not. There's something down there. We're doing our drone here. Straighten it out. Speed it up. Go down. There's something here underneath all of that rain. That would be this over here. Looks like it's just some more farming communities. I don't know if we can find that on the map or not. Kind of lost where we were. Go ahead and close that right there. So this is our destination. We are about. Yeah, I kind of lost my bearing now. I found that lake and I had my bearing, so not really sure where we are now. But we'll find out shortly. Looks like we're right over it. We are 13 minutes away. Probably over this area right here. 13 minutes away. That would be some of these right here. But looks like got quite a few more as we go along there. Am I crackling? Crackle, crackle, crackle? Sounds like I'm crackling again. That's just something with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I can actually even hear it over the headphones. Yeah, it has to be Microsoft Flight Simulator, or it could be the GeForce experience. I have a new.
Cessna 7 Charlie Charlie, you're leaving my airspace radar.
Oh, finally.
7, terminated squawk 7000. Frequency
Alrighty.
change approved.
Go ahead and
Squawk
say thank you very much.
7000. Frequency change
And
approved.
then
Cessna
on
7
our
Charlie Charlie.
transponder right there, we'll go VFR. When I hit VFR, that changes to 7,000. If I'm over the United States, I hit VFR, it changes to 1,200. So 7,000 is the default over Mexico. Bing, tell us about Tuxtla Gutierrez, Mexico.
Searching for Tuxtla Gutierrez, Mexico. Tuxtla Gutierrez, or simply Tuxtla, is the capital and the largest city of the state of Chiapas in southeastern Mexico. It is located in a valley surrounded by mountains at an elevation of about 1,740 feet, 530 meters, above sea level. It has a population of about 600,000 people and is a major commercial, governmental, and educational center for the region. Tuxtla has a long history dating back to pre-Hispanic times, when it was inhabited by the Soque people. It was later conquered by the Aztecs and then by the Spanish, who founded a town there in 1560. It became the state capital in 1892, replacing San Cristobal de las Casas. It was renamed Tuxtla Gutierrez in 1848 to honor Joaquin Miguel Gutierrez, a former governor of Chiapas. Tuxtla is known for its cultural attractions, such as the Marimba Park, where musicians play the traditional instrument of Chiapas, the City Museum, which displays the history and art of the city, and the Miguel Alvarez del Toro Zoo, which showcases the wildlife of Chiapas. Tuxtla is also a gateway to natural wonders, such as the Sumidero Canyon, a spectacular gorge carved by the Grijalva River, and the Aguacero Waterfall, a cascade of water in the Ocote Biosphere Reserve.
That's probably
Tuxtla
right
is also a gateway to natural wonders, such as the Sumidero Canyon, a spectacular gorge carved by the Grijalva River, and the Aguacero Waterfall, a cascade of water in the Ocote Biosphere Reserve. Tuxtla is also a gateway to natural wonders, such as the Sumidero Canyon, a spectacular gorge carved by the Grijalva River, and the Aguacero Waterfall, a cascade of water in the Ocote Biosphere Reserve.
Okay. I see that sometimes being AI, for whatever reason, toward the end there, she repeats herself 2 or 3 times sometimes. So this right here is Tuxtla Gutierrez, and then that canyon that she was probably talking about is what we just zoomed over there. And then I guess the rest of Tuxtla would be in this area right here.
Climb and maintain flight level 220 Valeris 667.
Yeah, this is the bigger portion of the city.
Valeris
Oh, look at this.
Climb and maintain flight level 230.
Try to speed it up. Here's the canyon she was talking about. Maybe one of these days we'll get in our the extra 300 and go flying through this canyon.
Climb and maintain flight level
So this right here would be the canyon that everybody's talking about. Oh yeah, that goes and goes, doesn't it? Check that out. Tuxtla Gutierrez. Not quite the Grand Canyon, but that's a pretty Grand Canyon there. Not as wide. But that would be the main attraction for Tuxtla Gutierrez.
And maintain flight level 230.
And of course, are there some baseball fields down there? Some fields, soccer fields. Tuxtla Gutierrez. Let's go back to our plane. There's probably a baseball field right there. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, there we go. There's a stadium and a baseball field right there. All right, back to our plane, and we are just about over it there. We are 11 nautical miles away from Tuxtla Gutierrez. And I'm going to go ahead and contact flight following. Maybe we'll get off of this.
Merida Center Cessna November Charlie 77 Charlie is type Cessna Skyhawk 12 miles south of Turan 12,000 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna November Charlie 77 Charlie Merida Center. Squawk 5435.
5, 4, 3, 5.
Cessna 7 Charlie radar contact 11 miles west of Tuxtla 12,100 feet.
Tuxtla.
Altimeter 29.86.
2986.
Roger Cessna 7 Charlie
So we were at 12,100 because we didn't have the altimeter.
Cessna 7 Charlie contact. Tuxtla approach on 118.6.
Tuxtla approach.
Good day.
118.6 for Cessna 7 Charlie.
Good day.
Tuxtla approach Cessna November Charlie 77 Charlie 12,000 feet.
So the canyon is way over there.
Tuxtla
Another canyon here, but the big one over there. 2987. So that went up one there. So most of Tuxtla Gutierrez will be to our left. there is a runway there, but apparently the waypoint isn't over the runway. Because we're still headed toward the waypoint, which the waypoint, zoom in just a little bit here. Or is that just another runway? That might be just another runway. Look at this right here. We'll take off the flight plan for a minute. Yeah, there's our runway. Oh, that's Mike Tango Bravo. And I'm wondering real quickly, I'm wondering if all this moving around makes it, so that's Mike Tango Golf. Yeah, so there was apparently another runway there. Mike Tango Bravo. Somewhere there anyway. Let's see here. But I'm wondering if all this switching around is causing that crackling sound. Testing 1 2. So Frederick, you flew a World War II fighter. What kind of fighter did you fly over there in Norway? .5 nautical miles, 223.
Cessna 7 Charlie, Charlie contact Merida Center on 128.3.
So Merida Center, or Merida Center.
128.3 Cessna 7 Charlie, Charlie.
Good day.
Merida Center Cessna November Charlie 77 Charlie, Charlie 12,000 feet.
Cessna November Charlie 77 Charlie, Charlie Merida Center altimeter 29.86. Continue.
Put the flight plan back up there. So we are 15 minutes from our top of descent. So that's a pretty interesting town there, right there, nestled in between the hills. And of course the canyons. That's where we saw those pictures of those people in the canyons. So we are 2 nautical miles away, about a minute 23 estimated time en route to Tango Golf Zulu. And the flight plan, the part of the flight plan that called for 12,000 feet was the second leg right here. So we might be getting into some higher hills as we go along. So what is the weather like in Tuxtla?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean by that. Can you please rephrase your message more?
What is the weather like in Tuxtla Gutierrez?
Searching for weather Tuxtla Gutierrez. The weather in Tuxtla Gutierrez is tropical, hot and humid, with a rainy season from May to October and a dry season from November to April. The average annual temperature is about 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius, with little variation throughout the year. The hottest months are March, April, and May, when the temperature can reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius or more. The coolest months are December and January, when the temperature can drop to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees Celsius at night.
So for such a high elevated area, 60 degrees isn't bad. And according to the weather forecast for today, July 8th, 2023, current weather in Tuxtla Gutierrez is rain with a temperature of 81 degrees and a humidity of 93%. There's a 75% chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of 70 degrees. The sunrise is at 5:45 and the sunset will be at 6:49. And again, I did back up the time. So the time that we have right now, I think is 5:22. I wish you could put on, instead of UTC, put on a local time there. I don't know if you can tell by this thing right here, and this right here. Yeah, 5:22. So we are now past our first waypoint. We are on our way. We have an 8-knot crosswind right there at 096, and we have 58 minutes to our destination. And then when we look at the flight plan here, we'll look at straight. So we will be flying toward the runway there, and then we'll fly over the runway and then fly it straight and circle around. Now if we came in the other way, now look at all that weather there. If we came in the other way, we'd have these mountains right here to deal with. So I don't know if a visual approach, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So going back to that now, let's go ahead and push that button again. Back up right here. We are coming over some waterways there, as you can see right there. And these waterways, I want to look real quick on Google Maps there. And so this is Tuxtla Gutierrez. We are heading now toward Tapachula, so we're heading in this direction. So this is the water right here, the La Angostura, and apparently that's a natural waterway here. I imagine they would probably, use some of that for irrigation. Over some of this area right here. Jericho. It looks like right along the lake there. Pretty big lake. So we are over, or about ready to be over Embarcadero, Jericho. That would be
Lost Carter 6364 climb and maintain flight level 360.
What can you tell us about Jericho, Mexico? What can you tell us about Jericho, Mexico?
Searching for Jericho, Mexico. There is no city or town named Jericho in Mexico.
It's not finding it. There is, as we saw on Google Maps there. Embarcadero, Jericho. Maybe we can ask that. Embarcadero, Jericho. What can you tell us about Embarcadero, Jericho, Mexico?
Searching for Embarcadero, Jericho.
Anyway, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. It put it there. They put in there Embarcadero. What can you... Okay.
Oscar to 6 tree, 64 climb and maintain flight level tree 60.
Such as
see. Try it one more time and see if I could do this. What can you tell me about Embarcadero, Jerico, Mexico? It separated the E from the
searching
MB.
for Embarcadero, Jericho, Mexico.
I don't know if it's going to find it. No, can't find it. I can spell it and it'll tell me something about it. Maybe we'll do it that way. I gotta remember how to spell it here.
64 climb and maintain flight level tree 60.
Embarcadero, and then Jerico, Mexico. Okay, now let's look it up.
Air Mexico 762 climb and maintain flight level
Okay.
tree 60.
I'll speak for her. Embarcadero, Jericho, Mexico is not a clear or specific name, but it could refer to one of these following places. Embarcadero de Jericho is a locality in the municipality of Villa Forzo in the state of Chiapas. Yeah, that's it. Mexico is located at, okay, right here where we are, near the, it had a latitude and longitude fixes on there, but Grijalva River. Embarcadero Fernando Salada is a boat launch in Xochimilco, a borough of Mexico City. That's Xochimilco. How do you pronounce that? It's where you can find, where you can take ecological tours of the canals and wetlands. And it's named after a poet from there and offers different routes and services. There's also a restaurant there that serves seafood and meat dishes. It's located in Calzada Vallejo, 1090 Santa Cruz de las Salinas, and Gustavo A. Madero Burro. Good reviews from TripAdvisor. But anyway, so that's a synopsis of this area right here. A lot of waterways there, and not a very large population. So I imagine, you know, some of these places here would be just a fisherman's paradise, or, you know, a hunter's paradise. Seven nautical miles away. We are 46 minutes, and we have weather ahead of us.
Costera 318, you are 16 miles west.
Costera 318.
15,000 feet, expect vectors, visual runway.
Costera 318. Find that one here. Costera. Maybe it's this one here. No? Yeah, it's not picking it up. Look at this, up here is Tabasco. I wonder if that's a state also. In New Orleans, where I'm from, there it is right there, 318. Costero, Air Mexico Connect. So that one right there is going from Mexico City to where we just flew over, Tuxtla Gutierrez. But anyway, Tabasco, they got Tabasco sauce in New Orleans. That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up. Not New Orleans. Well, I lived in New Orleans for a while. But I grew up in Slidell, which is on the North Shore Lake Pontchartrain.
Merida Center, Costera 318, 12,000 feet.
So they're
318 Merida Center altimeter 29.86. Continue as planned.
they're headed to
Costera Tree 18 contact.
Tuxtla
Tuxtla
Gutierrez.
approach on 118.6. Good day.
118.6. Good day. 0316.
Going to 118.6 Costera Tree 18.
Got some weather ahead of us. Back this up again. We can start to see the Pacific Ocean again. Just right over here. You can see the Pacific Ocean. We got a top of descent right here. So we are about 30 minutes away from.
12,000 feet.
Now they're calling again.
Costera Tree 18 Merida Center altimeter
I thought
29.87. Continue as planned.
Maybe they're on the same frequency. But anyway, I thought they,
318 contact. Tuxtla approach
okay,
on 118.6.
handing her off again.
Good day.
Anyway, we're 30 minutes away from our top descent.
Going to
Let's go explore.
118.6 Costera 318.
It's like the waterway's there, but then there's a lake right here all by itself. So that's 6. Increase our speed here a little bit there. And there's another little lake all by itself. Google Maps here. That little lake all by itself. Trying to figure out which one that one is. Well, maybe it's this one here, I don't know. Yeah, it could be. Be that one right there. Guess it wouldn't be all by itself then. All the other lakes are over
Merida
there.
Center Costera Tree 18 is passing 10,700
So where would that be in
descending
relation to us?
4,500 feet.
That direction.
Costera Tree 18 Merida Center altimeter 29.87. Continue as planned.
It's just from here, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to figure out where that lake is. It's like off to the right of the plane there. There it is. Found it. So that's El Portillo second or whatever. Yeah, that's that lake right there. And so we are over this town right here, Takeoff Park. That would be that town right there, Takeoff Park. Looks like there's some mountain rivers right there that just empty right into it. Small little lake. Doesn't look like there's any communities around it at all except for this community right here. You would think they would want to build around here so they would have a view of the lake. But they're probably more into agriculture than they are to living with a view.
Costera Tree 18 descends and maintains 3,500 feet.
So Costera 318, that's the plane that's landing in Tuxtla Gutierrez, where we just came
Descends
from.
and maintains 3,500 feet. Costera Tree 18.
weather is real, the time I backed up. So right now, probably in real life, the sun is setting in this region. I backed it up well, right now we could actually tell through this right here. It is 5:42. In real life, it's about 7:45, so it's already dark here. Now I wish on this, another thing, Microsoft Flight Simulator team, if you're listening, whenever you have this right here and you adjust the time right there, you should have a plus and a minus. I think FSX had that. You have a plus or a minus on this side and a plus on this side. And then whenever you hit the minus, it subtracts in increments of 1 minute. It's hard to get the just the exact minute down. But if you can just go minus, and you go minus 1 minute, you know, and then plus 1 minute. If you could just have a plus and minus so that you can advance it in increments of minutes if you wanted to, or just use the slider to advance it as far as you want. But neither one of those on this or on the main screen has that. It'd be nice to have just like a plus or a minus so you can just advance it or subtract it in increments of just 1 minute. That way you can be more precise. So there's a lot of people now that have been hired in the Microsoft Flight Simulator team. So maybe one of them, you know, find one of these videos and take my advice there. I think FSX had that where you can advance the track. I still have FSX installed. I thought about flying. I have a P-51 Mustang on FSX, and you know, I thought about flying that on the 4th of July. If you fly it on the 4th of July, fireworks will go off. I think at 10 or 10:30 or something like that in Seattle. I'm wondering what this is right here. Since we found that one lake there, we might be able to figure out what this is. There's the lake right there. I think we're flying over maybe this area. No, we're flying this way. Thinking it might be that. I don't know. Little town that we're flying over. There's a river that runs through it. There's the river right there. Would form a community center. And Altenango de la Paz, or Yaltenango, I would imagine the J pronounced as a Y sounded. Nestled in the mountains, there's a runway there. Maybe that's a runway there. Go ahead and look on our map here. Zoom in. We don't have any indication of a runway here. So we are headed into some weather. And it looks like we're going to be landing in a thunderstorm. We are now 65 nautical miles, 34 minutes away. And the timer actually stopped. 33:55. I wonder why it stopped. Now it's counting. 33:54. It's counting down slow. interesting. We're moving. Yeah, it looks like some gnarly weather there. When you look at the map, you know, sky vector, I wonder if it moved since the last time we looked at sky vector. So we go ahead and back up there. Yeah, it's got all the weather now. Before it was right over here, but now there's weather here as well with cloud tops. 52,000 feet. TS stands for thunderstorms. Later on, whenever we're flying, the reason why I was talking about the Cessna Caravan in this region is because you have ice. Ice. Turbulence there, turbulence all along there. There's ice right there. And no doubt whenever we're flying down here, if we're still here in the summertime here, wintertime there, we might have ice to encounter. So we'll have to do that in the Caravan. Microsoft, they're going to help us out with that. They're going to bring us a Caravan. They're going to ferry flight a Caravan there to that area. And we'll just leave this good old Cessna 172 somewhere in a hangar bay there in South America. It's got 78 hours on it so far. So far it's running pretty good. Got some cloud tops ahead there, quite high. We might even get into some IMC. Well, the TOD right there, the top of descent. When you look at that, it looks like it's in the clear. So, but it looks like whenever we approach the runway, that we will be getting into some IMC, instrument meteorological conditions. And at this point, though, it looks like we're going to be flying over the clouds. You've got some clouds just at about our altitude right there. But we'll see. Weather. We are 17 minutes away from top of descent. When we get about 5 minutes away from top of descent, hopefully I'll remember, but I want to ask Bing about Tapachula. So, some mountains right over there, some pretty high mountains in this region. And this right here is the reason why the sky vector, go back to our flight here, why sky vector called for 12,000 right here, all 12,000. And that is because of this region right here. Some high hills around here. Not exactly sure what these mountains are called. This is certainly it right here. And our destination, of course, being Tapachula, so we are flying over these mountains here. There's Honduras and Mexico. yeah, these are some pretty high mountains here. Didn't have elevation data with Google Maps. I don't know if maybe, I wish there was some elevation data, but I don't know. Got terrain data. It still doesn't tell you though the elevation of anything. At any rate, that's what we're flying over now. The higher hills in that area. I don't know if there's any volcanoes in this region. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, testing, testing. Alrighty, so my microphone is still working. I don't know if I'm hearing any crackling noise anymore either. So the crackling noise I tried solving. I bought a new headset, HS65 headset, because I was thinking maybe it was my wire on my old headset. I had a cheap headset, I still have it, but and it would crackle sometimes whenever I would adjust the volume. So I was thinking that was the crackling sound. Well, apparently the crackling sound is software related. So I tried disabling it. Said I looked it up on YouTube. People were saying disable all your enhancements, and this is of course using the GeForce experience. And I thought about going to that other software, OBS software, and I still might do that if I continue to have this crackling sound. But I was hoping that with all the updates, I have the most updated graphics driver, I have the most updated flight simulator. Of course, you have to have that, it's mandatory updates. And then you have the most updated NVIDIA driver, or GeForce experience, all of that. And still, but anyway, look at these right over here. We have, it looks like some mountain roads right there. Can you imagine driving along these mountain roads? And the other thing with the latest Microsoft Flight Simulator version 13380, look at my mouse, how it just it flutters whenever I move it around. It just flutters. And whenever I have it on the modern, I guess they call it the modern mode there, with the Xbox mode, I can't even press the buttons. I press the button, I have to press the button several times. So I had to go to the settings, to the assistant, and bring it back to legacy mode. And when bringing it back to legacy mode, it still flashes around, but at least in legacy mode, I don't have to do continual press on the button. I just press it once and it responds. So anyway, we are 11 minutes top of the set. Once we get through this thunderstorm here, we've got a thunderstorm right ahead of us there. And once we get through that, zoom in a little bit. Get through this area right here, and then we'll talk to Bing about Tapachula, Mexico. Oh boy, this right here is, I just switched from the plane to the drone, and look at this. So Microsoft Flight Simulator Team, if you could just work it out where whenever you switch to the drone, if you could just hit these two buttons right here so that it's level, that'd be great. The automatic switch to these right here. I disabled roll to the left, roll to the right for that specific reason, because I was always just constantly fighting, oh, roll to the left, roll to the right, roll to the left. It was just annoying, so I disabled that. But if you press both buttons, it resets the roll to the left, roll to the right to horizontal, as you just saw. But boy, that was just totally upside down. I've never seen that in a while. We had some thunderstorms that we're heading into. Got the Pacific Ocean right over in this direction. So we can see the ocean. It's real-time weather. So we're going to fly through some of this yellow. On my planes, you can hear variations of the engine sound, probably due to the air density, changes in the air density. We're still at 12,000 feet. Got some orange over there. Hopefully that's not headed this way. This is definitely IMC conditions there. And when we get to the runway, I don't know how low it is. Let me go ahead and see if I can determine right here. So we got broken. We got the weather is 0408, 05. So that would still be good for runway 5, 050. So broken. 020 CV. I wish I could read all this. 23. There's a way to read this. I wonder if there's a book out there on the internet somewhere. Somebody got information on it. If I learn it, I'll share it with you. Big thunderstorm right there. Mostly my left. Right there. And that's another thing. What's up with that white dot right there? It's always seeing that white dot. Just almost out of the terrain there. Bing, what can you tell us about Tapachula, Mexico?
Searching for Tapachula, Mexico. Tapachula is a city and municipality located in the far southeast of the state of Chiapas in Mexico, near the Guatemalan border and the Pacific Ocean. The city is capital of the Chiapas region of Soconusco with the nickname of the Pearl of the Soconusco. The name Tapachula comes from Nahuatl and means between the waters due to the area's frequent flooding. It is situated on the Coahuilton River on the Pacific coastal plain at 449 feet, 137 meters above sea level. It is Mexico's main border city with Guatemala on the Pacific coast area, even though it is located some kilometers away from the border proper. The main commercial border crossing is in Ciudad Hidalgo, about 40 kilometers away. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any other questions.
Thank you, Bing. That helped very much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Bing. I know that you're always right there.
You're welcome. I'm always here to help.
So that's Bing AI, artificial intelligence, and it's the chat bot. And there's a big buzz now about all of the AI coming out. Chat GPT 4, and now they're coming out with, well, they came out with 3, 4, and now 5. And I was watching a video earlier on YouTube about AI. They had their first press conference with AI robots, and there were several different models, about 7 different models. Forget where it was, in Sweden or somewhere, one of those countries. But they had conversations with these AI robots, and it was very interesting. And so being AI, it's kind of like artificial intelligence right in your pocket, and you can talk to it and you can say, well, tell me about Mexico City, and it'll tell you about Mexico City, and then you'll say, just follow up and just say, hey, well, how many people live there, what's the biggest economy, you just talk about it without having to say Mexico City again, and it'll know you're talking about up to, I think being AI does it up to 30 times, and then you have to sweep it and start over or whatever. Sometimes it drops off, but it's pretty interesting. You can actually hold a conversation with this thing. And it can write a poem for you, it can write a story. I told it to, I made Driver of the Month in May, and I told Bing, write me a speech for Driver of the Month or Access Driver. I'm an Access Bus driver. And it wrote me a speech. And I thought this was pretty cool. We are now, let's see, we are 2 minutes from top of descent. We're going to be descending right into those clouds there. And not much going on with flight following. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see if I can contact, once we start our descent, contact Mike Tango Papa, and see which runway they do want us to land at. I want to try to get ahead of that. Still over some of the mountains there. are. 49 seconds from top of descent. Should be loading here shortly. Got mixture at 50%. We're pretty much over the mountains if you look at this right here and take the next rad off. We got the, this is the well, there's some hilly regions there, but we should be okay. All the mountains are behind us. So next rad back on. "12 seconds. Vertical path is loaded. We're active now. You can see the V path right there. And so what I'm going to do, we can just zoom on down here. I just have to watch the speed. Where true airspeed is 122 knots right here. See 122, right? 124, please. I'm going to go ahead and contact, see if I can contact. Right, Tango Papa, right there, Tapachula International. We'll contact the tower there, and we are requesting a full
Tapachula
stop
Tower,
landing.
Cessna November Charlie,
Hopefully
77 Charlie Charlie,
it'll
24
be
miles north, 11,700
runway
feet to
5.
land.
If not, we'll
Cessna
change
November
it.
Charlie, 77 Charlie Charlie,
Runway 5,
Tapachula
please.
Tower. Altimeter 29.9, 1 wind calm, enter left traffic
Wind
runway
calm,
05.
good. And we'll go ahead and acknowledge.
Make left traffic runway
Now what I want
05,
to do
Cessna
to
7
kind of
Charlie
speed this
Charlie.
up, since we know it's runway 5, instead of flying over the airport and into straight, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do a direct to straight. So highlight that, hit the direct button there, and then we'll go ahead and load that, activate that. So now we're going to go directly to straight. So that way we don't have to worry about flying over the runway and then flying to straight. We'll just fly straight to straight. Again, this is using the visual approach on the Garmin G1000. Kind of monitoring my propeller a little bit, backing off a little bit on my power, making sure that this right here doesn't go into the red, and then making sure that this doesn't go into the yellow, but still trying to take advantage of the downhill slope to gather some speed. I don't know if they would do that in real life or not, or if they would want to take it easy. Definitely don't want to go in the yellow. And some of the planes, they'll have a barber pole there. But we have, on this one, we have a ribbon, a yellow ribbon, a green ribbon. And this also adjusts, it varies depending on the density of the air. And we got, looks like a pretty high cloud right there. I don't know if that's right over our straight or not. It looks like we're headed this way, but that might be right over the runway there. So at this point, it looks like some green over the runway, so it might be some good visibility there. I did put in there minimums, and we'll see how that plays out too. But I did put on the approach there minimums. So I put a minimum of 300. I think the elevation of runway is 100, but I have my altitude select at 900, and so vertical path should carry us all the way down. When we go to straight there, I'm going to go ahead and hit approach, and the approach will give us vertical and lateral guidance. At least this version, the Microsoft Flight Simulator version of the Garmin G1000, it gives us vertical and lateral guidance to the runway. All using the GPS. Looks like we're going to have our head in the clouds here shortly. We're going to back this up again so see what the weather is like. One 122 knots indicated airspeed. Our true airspeed is 141. So we're really cooking along now. We have a 7-knot headwind at 134. Real-time weather. Of course, I backed up the time. It's already dark in this region now. Just about ready to hit the top of those clouds there. Might get into a little bit of IMC, instrument meteorological conditions. Still cooking along there. Looks like that yellow right there is starting to come down as we get into thicker air density. Altitude when we hit straight should be about 1600, above 1600, about 1640 according to flight plan there. Right now we're at 6000, and to bottom of descent we are 5 minutes and 29 seconds, so we should be at 16 in about another 5 minutes. 1650. Alright, now we are in IMC right here. Outside air temperature is 18 degrees. We have all our lights on. We are in rain. So this might be IMC all the way down. We got quite a bit of yellow there. So far, no flashes of lightning. I'm backing off now on the power as we can see that our airspeed is increasing. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit now on the flight plan there. 4,500. 7 nautical miles from straight. 3 minutes and 23 seconds. And our bottom of descent also is about 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Got a 10-knot headwind. All autopilot here. This is where pilots sometimes get in trouble whenever they go into this type of environment. and they get spatial disorientation. I'm seeing this little diamond here, so I'm going to go ahead and load my, or arm my approach right there. So our glide path is approached, or lit up. Our glide path is armed. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Straight. Back off more on the power here. Still using the vertical path. Vertical path is loaded all the way down to 900 feet. So if the glide path doesn't take over, we'll still be using the vertical path to control our descent to 900 feet. We are now 2 minutes away from straight. It's complete IMC conditions here, instrument meteorological conditions. 12 knot headwind, going 94 knots. Indicated airspeed 95. Okay, now I got the mixture at rich. There's a checklist, no doubt. There's a real pilot. His name is Citation Mats, and he flies a Citation, Cessna Citation. And he has these cards that he uses as checklists. So we are now 1 minute and 18 seconds in estimated time en route for straight. Still keeping it just above. I would imagine that the white right there is the flaps safe zone. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a pilot, but I would imagine that this white right here, 85 and below, would be the safe speed to extend your flaps. Right now, I'm just bringing it down just above that. We are about ready to make our turn. Here we are on our turn. I'm slowing down even a little more here. We are turning toward the runway now. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Go ahead and take off the flight plan there. I already zoom in right here. Just following along that path right there. 87. Should be cleared to land here shortly. Our final approach fix is 1.9 nautical miles. Okay, we got flaps 1.
Clear to land runway 05 Cessna 7 Charlie Charlie.
So we might be landing in the rain here. You can see a little bit now. See a little bit of the ground there. So that's good. We're still following the guidance, our vertical path, and of course the GPS, but the glide path is not activated yet. I'm going to go ahead and go full flaps here. We want to bring this down to the glide speed. Keep it at the glide speed there. I have a 9 knot headwind there. Hopefully no gusts. I don't see any gusts so far. There's the runway in sight. So we're just almost to 900. Keeping it on the G there. Trying to. Mixture is rich. And then the glide path is now taken over. Glide path is active. We got 2 white and 2 red on the PAPI precision approach path indicators. Flaps are full. Mixture is rich. Doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much of Tapachula today. Maybe we'll talk about it on our next flight to Guatemala, which is just south of here. No, Google, I didn't. Okay. When I said Guatemala, Google thought I was saying Google. We got about a 3-knot crosswind, pushing us just a little bit. This runway's lit up. I was landing a couple of flights ago, and landing at night, the runway wasn't lit up. The PAPI lights were lit up, but the runway wasn't. Well, beautiful weather here in Tapachula. Thunderstorms are quite often in this area at this time of year. It's like that in Louisiana too, where I grew up. Visited my brother last year, my brothers, and there's thunderstorms every day. So autopilot is off. Trying to aim for that 1,000-foot marker there, and I'm going idle now on the power again to get that. It looks like it's pretty calm. Flare, bring up that nose just a little bit there. Try to gently set those tires down. There we go. And it flaps up.
Cessna 7 Charlie, Charlie, exit runway when able.
Can we exit this part? We'll go ahead and go to the next part there. This looks like a pretty big airport here. Bigger than I thought it would be. Now there's another thing, Microsoft Flight Simulator team, whenever I land, this thing flashes. It didn't do that. If you looked at some of my earlier flights on these videos, before this last update, it didn't do that. Along with my mouse flashing. I don't know if it's related to my mouse flashing there. Oh boy, going too fast. I'm trying. Going a little too fast there. Distracted talking to the Microsoft Flight Simulator programming team.
Cessna 7 Charlie, Charlie, contact ground on 118 decimal tree.
Alrighty. 118 decimal
118 decimal tree for Cessna 7 Charlie, Charlie.
Have a good afternoon. And then I'm going to taxi to
Tapachula
parking
ground
here.
Cessna November Charlie 77 Charlie,
Turn
Charlie,
me
taxi
around,
to
I don't
parking.
Cessna November Charlie 77 Charlie, Charlie, taxi
Bravo.
to general aviation parking using taxiway Bravo.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Bravo Cessna 7 Charlie, Charlie.
Wherever that is. Bravo right here. And there looks like another Microsoft plane over there. Well, that looks like is that an extra 300? That's a nice plane. Alrighty, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Tapachula. And we'll go ahead and shut off the motor there. Acknowledge the alert. Shut off all the lights. And shut off. I'll keep the battery on there for the moment. Actually, I'll go ahead and all of that right there. Anyway. Shut that off as well. I don't think there's any other planes. Sometimes I leave this on in case there's any other planes. You can hear the radio transmission. But let's go back to our drone here. Oh. So anyway, had to straighten that out again. But there's a Microsoft Flight Simulator plane right over here. And other than that, it doesn't look like there's any other planes Oh, there's one over here. Check this one out. That looks like a Piper Cub. So our next flight, we'll do it in a Piper Cub, and it'll take us about a year. No, just kidding. Anyway, this is the airport at Tapachula, Mexico, southern Mexico. And then doesn't look like we're going to get much of a view today of the city because of the clouds. But I'll try to go this way here and see if we can see anything. Farmland right there. Going back to the airport here. I'm not exactly sure which way the ocean is. I think it's in this direction here. Maybe that's part of the city there, or it's just a village. Yeah, I don't know where the ocean is. There it is. Part of the ocean there for... Boy, well anyway, we'll just have to look around again tomorrow. Hopefully we won't be taking off in the middle of a thunderstorm. I usually do it in the afternoon and then back up the time a little bit, but in the evening, that's when the thunderstorms get really heavy around this area. So, Tapachula, Mexico. All right, everyone. Have a good day.